Elon Musk had always been a man of ambition, a visionary whose ideas often stretched beyond the realm of possibility. On a brisk morning in Austin, Texas, he strode into the sleek glass-fronted building of Titan Tech Bank, a prestigious institution known for its conservative financial practices. Musk, brimming with confidence, was there to secure a $500 million loan for an audacious new SpaceX project aimed at revolutionizing space travel. He envisioned a future where humanity would be a multiplanetary species, and this funding was crucial to realizing that dream. As he entered the bank's lobby, adorned with minimalist art and the subtle hum of technology, Musk was greeted by the bank's staff, who ushered him into a conference room that overlooked the bustling city. The atmosphere was charged with potential, but as he sat across from Robert Kane, the bank's director, the mood shifted. Kane, a man of sharp intellect and traditional values, had built his career on careful calculations and risk assessments. He listened intently as Musk laid out his vision, the numbers and projections rolling off his tongue with the ease of someone who had spent countless hours honing his pitch. However, as Musk finished, he could sense a hesitance in Kane's demeanor. The director leaned back in his chair, folding his arms, and began to dissect Musk's proposal. "Elon, I appreciate your passion, but the bank's current financial position doesn't allow us to take on such a high-risk loan. The projections are ambitious, and we have to consider the potential fallout." Musk felt a flash of anger. He had grown accustomed to rejection, but this was different. This was a man who didn't just see the numbers, he saw the future through a lens of caution and skepticism. "You're missing the bigger picture, Robert. This is about innovation, about pushing boundaries. We're talking about the next leap for humanity." Kane remained unmoved. "Innovation is important, but so is fiscal responsibility. We can't overlook the potential risks. I'm afraid I have to decline your request." Insulted and frustrated, Musk left the bank feeling the weight of Kane's dismissal pressing heavily on his shoulders. He had never been one to take no for an answer, especially not from someone he deemed a gatekeeper of outdated paradigms. As he drove through the vibrant streets of Austin, a plan began to form in his mind. A plan that would turn the tables on the very institution that had just rejected him. Musk was no stranger to the art of intelligence gathering. He had built a network of contacts in various industries, and within hours of leaving the bank, he was on the phone with trusted allies, gathering information about Titan Tech Bank's operations, its finances, and, crucially, its real estate holdings. The more he learned, the clearer his path became. The bank's building, a modern architectural marvel, was owned outright, and its value was far greater than anyone realized. Musk's mind raced with the possibilities. In the days that followed, he orchestrated a series of transactions that would culminate in a shocking acquisition. Utilizing his vast resources, Musk made an all-cash offer for the bank's building, a move that sent ripples of confusion throughout Titan Tech Bank. The board members were blindsided, and Kane, who had prided himself on his control over the institution, was left scrambling for answers. When the news broke that Musk had acquired the bank's premises, panic ensued. Kane, who had spent 23 years cultivating his position, found himself in a precarious situation. The engineers were called in to assess the building's structural integrity, a routine procedure that suddenly took on a menacing tone. Musk had made it clear that he would leverage any findings to disrupt the bank's operations. "If there are safety concerns," he had said, "then we'll have to halt all activities until they're resolved. I wouldn't want anything to happen to your employees, Robert." The threat hung in the air like a dark cloud. Kane's authority was suddenly undermined, and the morale within the bank began to plummet. Employees, once proud to work for a prestigious institution, started to question their future. The whispers of discontent turned into a chorus of dissatisfaction, and before long, a mass resignation swept through the ranks. Talented individuals who had dedicated years to the bank were leaving, citing uncertainty and a lack of leadership as their reasons. Kane, watching his empire crumble, felt the weight of his decisions. The board, once supportive, began to turn against him. They had trusted his judgment, but now they were faced with the reality of a tech mogul reshaping their institution. The board convened in emergency sessions, but the discussions were fraught with tension. Kane's vision of a stable, traditional bank clashed violently with Musk's disruptive approach. As the days turned into weeks, the pressure mounted. Kane, feeling isolated and cornered, finally made the decision to resign. The announcement sent shockwaves through the bank and the industry at large. After 2 decades of service, he had become a footnote in the story of a rapidly evolving financial landscape. The very institution he had built was now at the mercy of a man who thrived on innovation and risk. With Kane's departure, Musk stepped in to stabilize operations at Titan Tech Bank. He recognized the need for a new approach, one that embraced flexibility and adaptability. He introduced innovative lease terms that allowed the bank to operate without the burdensome overhead that had previously stifled its growth. The bank, now under Musk's informal leadership, began to attract new talent, individuals eager to be part of a transformative era. But the changes didn't stop there. Musk, with his eye on the future, initiated discussions with NextGen, a rising fintech company known for its disruptive technologies. The merger seemed inevitable, a union of old and new that could redefine the banking landscape. Musk's vision for a more integrated financial ecosystem began to take shape, and as the two entities joined forces, the potential for growth became palpable. In the aftermath of these seismic shifts, the narrative of Titan Tech Bank transformed. No longer was it a bastion of traditional finance. It had become a hybrid institution, one that embraced technology and innovation at its core. The staff, once disillusioned, found new purpose under Musk's leadership. They were no longer just employees of a bank. They were pioneers in a new financial frontier. As Musk reflected on his victory, he contemplated the broader implications of this power dynamic. The clash between traditional finance and the disruptive force of modern technology was not just a battle of institutions. It was a reflection of a changing world. The old guard, represented by Kane, had been unable to adapt, while the new wave, embodied by Musk, thrived on innovation and risk-taking. In the weeks that followed, as the merger with NextGen solidified, Musk found himself at the center of a new narrative, one that spoke to the evolution of business and the shifting paradigms that defined it. He had not only secured the funding he needed for SpaceX, he had redefined the landscape of finance in Austin and beyond. Kane, now a distant memory, faded into obscurity, a cautionary tale of what happens when one becomes too entrenched in tradition. Musk, on the other hand, stood at the forefront of a revolution, a testament to the power of calculated strategy and the drive to reshape established institutions. The story of Titan Tech Bank became a case study in business schools, a prime example of the transformative power of technology and the importance of adaptability in an ever-changing world. And as Musk continued to push the boundaries of what was possible, he remained ever vigilant, knowing that in the realm of innovation, the only constant was change.